My city skyline got a savage inequality byline that ravages my mind. The high crime I witnessed in my time consisted of gold signs that diminished my lifeline.
This meeting tonight on May 30th in this little church on the same road that leads to the White House could literally be one of the more important meetings our movement is having in this very long struggle. When the woman who is called your mom, as we have called Cynthia's the Peace Mom, when your mother quits as a movement, then we need to look at that. Regardless of whatever you feel, when that happens, we need to analyze that more carefully. When activists like Tina are flustered, we need to wonder why. So tonight, we need to have a discussion about a lot of things, in particular, how our government, who we put into office on November 7th of 2006, who had the most clearest mandate that a Congress could ever have. And we looked for congressmen and congresswomen like Charles Sumner fighting when they fought against slavery, who literally was beaten in the Senate chambers fighting against that. And we thought that we might have had some who would be so willing to act up and get in the way, that members of Congress that we just could not fathom that 6 months later, after we had that sweeping changes, black, white, brown, yellow, straight, gay, male, female, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Independent, Green, all went to the polls to make change. And then from January 4th to now, that not only would they roll over, but literally give this president another $100 billion.
Questions that I get is that when did I turn against the war? Was my turning point in my experience in Iraq? It wasn't my experience in Iraq that turned me against the war, it was the war itself. I actually disagreed with the war before I went. And when the war first started, I was in the National Guard in New York, and my unit was mobilized. We thought we were going, we were prepared to go. We ended up in New York City doing a subway mission there. The following year, in 2004, we got another warning order, so we were going to go. We pretty much blew it off at that time. It was a joke to us. We were like, yeah, whatever, we're going to go again in the subways and fucking chill in New York for another few months. Well, it turned out we were wrong. I was actually pulled to go with a general staff. My first job in the military was as a 12 Bravo combat engineer, basically an explosives expert. My next job was as an infantryman, but I went to Iraq with a general on his staff. And I was against the war before it started. I remember sitting in Buffalo, New York, staring across the river at Canada and thinking, you know, that's what they did in the 60s, right? They went to Canada when they disagreed with the war, but I had no conceptual idea that I didn't know Patrick Hart or the War Sister Support Campaign, any of that, so it was a very fleeting idea. The second thing I thought of doing was just refusing going to jail, but I didn't know Camilla Mejia or Kevin Benderman or various others. I certainly didn't know about any kind of CO process. And so when a lot of people ask me why we have these other people in our organization who've never been to Iraq, it's to give an example to people like myself that are thinking of refusing to go, that there are options in the world and that we do want them to see them. Second,
I just joined a few months ago. I finally made the decision to join IVAW, even though I haven't been to Iraq. I meet the qualifications because I've been serving in the Air Force for 6 years this August, and basically I decided to join IVAW because I am against this war in particular. I think I'm against all wars. It's been a very long struggle. I've been doing a lot of self-evaluation. I've questioned almost everything that I believe at this point. I grew up in a very conservative family in Louisiana, and you know, they just don't understand, you know, what I'm doing. So it's been a very difficult struggle to get here and to be sitting in front of you doing this today.
Ranger. There's a lot of hype in the Army about the Army Rangers. And so we joined up because it was, you know, I was going to be bad. I was going to be this commando. And the first program you go through is called the Ranger Indoctrination Program. Shorthand is RIP, R-I-P. That probably should have been a good indicator to me what I was going into. All right. I did survive RIP, but to give you an idea of what we went through there, no one tells you when you join the Army. No one told me when I joined the Army that I was there to kill people. I was there for all sorts of reasons, not killing people. That wasn't mentioned until I was 3 or 4 days into RIP. We hadn't slept, we hadn't eaten, we've been carrying logs all night, crawling around in mud, and this big, huge man, gladiator-looking guy, pulls out his bayonet,